Who'd have thunk that this small island in this tropical paradise would have a state-of-the-art free roam virtual reality arena? Let's go check it out. And now I'm falling off!
And so that drug is virtual reality, and it's going to have an impact in ways you can't even begin to imagine.
I won!
So good.
Sawadee krap! Welcome to Thailand, a country rich in Buddhist culture, with healthy, delicious food, legendary warmth and hospitality, and high-quality, affordable dental care, I might add. And thanks to IAAPA holding their Asian Expo in Bangkok this year, we get to spend some time checking out the VR scene. IAAPA is the biggest amusement showcase in the world, with trade shows each year in Asia, Europe, and America. And I'm here to see what's new in the immersive technology and VR scene. It's a big show, so let's get going.
This is Hologate's new Wi-Fi 6E wireless attraction. Now, they've been working on this a long time. Operators have been frustrated with cables, as you know, for every system for a long time. Now, I don't know if you know this, Hologate's been doing a lot of work with the German military. And they've been doing military training now for years, and the learnings they're taking from the military systems, they're bringing back into the amusement industry. And so what you see here is a whole new Hologate system. So this is a self-contained cart. You can see they're using rack-mounted servers here, right? Which are super durable and a little bit more expensive than what you do just buying gaming PCs, but they've got better power supplies, better cooling systems. So you're gonna be able to run them all day, and they're gonna last a lot longer. And it's got all of the spare batteries and the controller chargers, the Wi-Fi access point, screen, everything mounted here in one kit. And then what happens is instead of all of the truss and the infrastructure, now they're just using Focus 3 headsets with Wi-Fi 6E. So no more cable nightmares. And so what they've done is they've packaged it into 3 different packages. So you can just get the cart for 39,000 euros, and that comes with 4 headsets, 4 blasters, 4 vests. Or for 49,000 euros, you can get this little portable kind of arena setup that's 5 meters by 5 meters. And then if you want the full Hologate with the truss and the monitors and everything, that one's now priced at 65,000 euros. Prices coming down, options going up. And so Hologate makes some of the best content in this 4-player attraction mode, but the reliability of those cables has been a nightmare for people. And so this is their response, and it's a hell of a lot less expensive. Now I asked them if they're considering doing a conversion kit for their existing operators, and they're working on that. They couldn't quote pricing at the show, but I think they're only weeks away from enabling existing operators who have the truss-based system with the wired HTC Vive headsets to be able to convert to wireless and the Vive Focus 3. And so realistically, you're probably looking at between $10,000 and $20,000 range. That's my guess, not theirs. But you're talking about 4 Focus 3 headsets, which is about $6,000. You're probably going to need to be computer upgrades. If not, you're certainly going to need graphic card upgrades, and you need Wi-Fi routers and stuff. And so realistically, you look at between $10,000 and $20,000, depending on how much you need to be able to get rid of all the cables and all the maintenance and headaches that go with that, and then refresh your existing Hologates. If you watch this video and you're interested, get on it. It's a great attraction.
A lot of the simulators that are coming out of the Chinese factories don't really hit Western safety requirements, and the content generally is not up to Western standards, so I still don't recommend them. My friend Ron Miraz from Time Zone convinced me to try the Movie Power Space Ride, and the content made me nauseous, so I had to quit after about a minute. Now this hot air balloon simulator was really cool in a dome. While there was no motion, the sense of immersion made you feel like flying. Metaverse XR was showcasing wind and heat effects in a VR attraction. And this VR bungee adventure is probably safer than bungee jumping in real life. Now this VR battleship from Fun in VR looks good from the curb, but I watched somebody play it and you can tell from their facial expressions they really weren't having a good time. Now, DOF Robotics makes one of the most interesting simulators in the VR market, but the challenge is they're using a 3 DOF headset in this setup where you're moving in 6 degrees of freedom. And so I think they need to upgrade their headset and their content, but the simulator itself is amazing to look at and probably quite thrilling to ride. Now, since I planned on being in the water on this trip, I couldn't get a traditional Thai Sakient tiger tattoo. I had to settle for a vending machine unicorn instead. A short flight from Bangkok took us to the tropical beaches of Koh Samui in the Gulf of Thailand, where we hoped to get away from VR for a little while. But
Hey, so we're here at the Central Samui Shopping Center in beautiful Koh Samui, Thailand, and we're gonna go check out a VR arcade. Can you imagine? Here in tropical paradise? Let's see what we find.
now the first thing you notice when you walk into this Another World location is the bright neon lights and the laughter of the kids. Not a bad combination. Now you'll notice that all the kids are just running around having fun with their parents, right? And so there's no tethers, there's no wires, there's plenty of physical activity, which is one of the reasons that parents love this attraction. Now I spoke with the owner of this particular location, and they're so happy with it, they're planning on opening another one in Phuket in the near future. And so this is a family-owned business, the family's very involved in running it, and because the capital expenditure is low, the revenue doesn't really need to be that high to make money, and the labor costs, of course, in Thailand are really low as well. Now, one of the challenges of Another World is you'll notice they're using Quest headsets from Meta, which really aren't designed for location-based VR. And they have to be recalibrated between games, which if you've got 8 or 10 people in there, can take, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes, where the people just have to stand around and wait for an employee to recalibrate everything, which is labor-intensive and not the best customer experience.
Wow, well that was it. We played a game called Schooter. It's their player versus player kind of VR laser tag game, and I have to say they had one of the more clever uses of maps that I've seen and being able to use the space. So one of my big complaints about the PvP games is they just don't do a good enough job of making the space feel bigger, and that was only, so there were 2 of us playing, and we were actually in half the map, so we were only in 500 square feet, 50 square meters. It can go up to 2,000 square feet or 200 square meters. And so what they did is, because there was only 2 of us, they shrunk the map down in half based on the number of players, so there's more action, because if you ever played laser tag in a big arena with 2, 3, 4 people, you spend most of your time running around trying to find each other. And so that's really smart. And the way we played, the first one was there were 2 different towers, and you could teleport between the towers, and each tower had 3 levels. And so you had 6 different spaces you could play in. You know, it was a really clever use of space, and one of the things I love about that is that, because the games can get really boring if all you're doing is shooting. Like the core loop there is really basic, but now all of a sudden you have to figure out the map. So there's almost a puzzle element to how does the map work? How do I move around? How do I move the devices? Then there's different weapons, then there's some shields, and then you have somebody shooting at you and you have to find them. And so that combination of a clever map that takes a little bit of time to solve and figure out in a PvP shooter is really kind of one of the keys to making a really good game. And so, well done, Another World.